Hello, people. Welcome to Conversations with Your Fair, where we talk about wholeness, well being, and the wonders of womanhood. So, a few nights ago, I was coming home from work and I started thinking about my life. And, you know, what came to me was this is not the life I thought I'd be living at 53. I thought that by age 50, I would have made enough money so that at this time my money would be working for me. I wouldn't need to work. I'd be at least semi retired. But is that the case? Not at all. The truth is, many of us don't achieve our full potential for many reasons. And I told myself on that day that look, at this time of the year, especially, it's a time to reflect, it's a time to recharge, and it's a time to reinvent. So that's what we're going to be talking about today: reflect, recharge, reinvent. Oftentimes, there are things that hold us back from reinventing ourselves. And one of the primary causes, or one of the primary reasons, is fear. Many of us, especially when we get to a certain age, are afraid to launch out. We don't want to make mistakes. We're so careful, forgetting that mistakes really are a part of growth. Mistakes are a part of learning, and fear would naturally hold us back from being who God intended for us to be. Fear would hold us back from achieving our full potential. So we have to deal with that fear. Sometimes when it's not fair, it is complacency or just embracing mediocrity, where we get to a point where we're just like, we're going with the flow, it's okay. Um, I can't kill myself. But that really shouldn't be the case. We should always strive for greatness. We should always strive for more. We should always push for more. Before moving to the UK, I had achieved a certain level of comfort in Nigeria. I was not rich by any means, but I mean, in my career, I had grown. I was uh, at the top of my career, so to speak. Of course, there's always room for more. There's always room for more. But I had grown risen through the ranks, and I was doing okay, and I was pretty much happy. And then coming here and starting afresh, that is enough to throw you off. And then when you move into a new society, we're just becoming familiar with the environment, and you're just waiting for things to fall into place, and you've had detours along the way that have sort of lengthened your journey. You're just like, you know what? For me, I was just like, I can't kill myself. But thinking about it, I'm like, people are reinventing themselves every single day. People are pushing hard to become a better version of themselves every single day. Wow, what's stopping me? And then that's why I thought, okay. And because I was talking to my son, and because I told him that night with the way I was feeling. And then a few days later, he told me, that made me really sad, mommy. You saying that, the life you're living now is not the life you expected to be living at 53. And it's the truth. So fear has held me back, from doing a lot of things I could have done or I should have done. But right now, I'm at that point where I'm like, oh no, I'm reinventing myself. And the truth of the matter is that reinventing yourself requires a lot of courage. It requires discipline, it requires willingness, and it requires action. You can't reinvent yourself. You can't wish reinventing yourself into being. You have to be willing to put in the work. Um, Sometimes, it is even just societal expectations that cause us to just become laid back. We're pushed into a particular role. Society expects us to function in a particular way, and then we just fall into that mold, which really should not be the case. We should always strive to become better than we are. Uh, Reinventing yourself is not a one time thing, is not something that happens in one day. It is a journey. It's a journey that requires patience, it's a journey that requires persistence, it's a journey that requires dedication. And in my case, I have told myself there is need to reinvent. There's a woman that I follow on Instagram, Fit Granny. She's 73. And I see her doing wonderful things that, at that age, you'd expect that, oh, of course, she's retired. She should just sit at home and play granny. But no, she's into fitness. I think she says she's been into fitness for 2 years or so, and now she's getting what do they call that thing? Oh, what's the word now? What's the word? Where brands contact you, and she's doing adverts. And then the other day she was sharing the kind of meals that she eats and all that, living her best life. Because when you until you reinvent yourself, you actually can't begin to live your best life. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is, at this point in our lives, we need to reflect, and self-reflection will take you to a place where you think about those things that you have done right and those things that you have not done so right, or those things that you could have done better. It'll make you look inwards, look at your strengths, your areas of weakness, and your focus for improvement, basically. And that's where I'm at now, especially at this time of the year. I mean, it's a few days to the end of this year, so it's a time to sit down. It's a time to set goals. It's a time to be intentional about where you want to see yourself next year and in the years to come, not just next year, because next year is just the beginning, where you want to see yourself in the next few years. In the course of reinventing yourself, what are those things that you'd like to do better? What are those things you've always wanted to do that somehow fear has not allowed you to launch out and do? When we were much younger, or when we're young, we're all encouraged to dream big. And most of us had very big dreams. I know I had big dreams. I wanted to have my own school, run my own nursery, and have my own orphanage. I'm 53 today. Do I have my own nursery? No. Do I have an orphanage? No. Oh my goodness. But it's never too late. It's never too late to live your dream. It's never too late to launch out into the deep. But there has to be a shift in mindset. The mindset has to change. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to have a mindset that says, I can do it. You have to have a mindset that will push you, into those big things you've always dreamt of. Even the Bible says you can't put new wine into an old wine skin. So if the mindset remains the same, then we can't achieve much. So we have to let go of fear. We have to let go of mediocrity and complacency. We have to let go of societal expectations and actually be intentional about our expectations of ourselves. I'm talking to myself, really. I have to be intentional about what are the expectations I have of myself in the coming year and in the years to come. I need to recharge now at this point. And that's the thing about self-reflection. When you reflect, you get a certain, well, it can work two ways. You can reflect and then go into the dump, or you can reflect and then recharge, in which case you get a certain, you're propelled, you get a certain energy that pushes you into wanting to be better, into wanting to do better. And that's where I'm at now. So I'm in the process of recharging, because the way I felt that day really had me quite discouraged. But I told myself, no, that's not you. I've always been driven. I've always been someone who pushed. I've always been a go-getter. I've always gone for the things that I wanted. And then suddenly, at a point in my life where I'm so relaxed that, no, that's not it. And we shouldn't get to that point, really. We should always strive, push further, push harder. But we have to be patient. Along the way, we're going to make mistakes, definitely. But we have to learn from them, and then we have to grow through those mistakes and become better. Because when you make a mistake, you've learned one way you've learned a way of not doing something. That means that there are other ways of doing that thing that would give you better results. So, or you can improve on that way that you have, that method that you have attempted that didn't work so well. It tells you, when you make a mistake, it tells you that you can do it in a better way. You can improve on it, and in the course of it, your skills grow. You enhance your skills. So that's where I'm at now. So basically, my question for you today, or my question for us today, is what are those things that have kept you back from reinventing yourself? Drop your comments in the comments section. And how do you plan to grow in the years to come? What are those things you plan to do to reinvent yourself? Are you going into a side hustle? Are you even in the current, like I'm a teacher, for example, are you planning to work with schools. I have a lot of experience as an educator. I've been in education for over 20 years. One of the things I plan to do is looking at um, working with schools in Nigeria, start to reach out to schools in Nigeria, start to do trainings, online trainings, because I'm a great trainer. I know that already is a skill that I have, start to do trainings online and not just waste, all those years of experience, all the trainings that you have acquired over the years, rebrand, reinvent, and start to make money from those things because living abroad can put you into a mold where all you do is just work. And when I say work, you're working for someone else. You're working for someone else, you're paying bills, you're working for someone else, you're paying bills. But this is a time that I am personally reinventing myself so that I can make money for myself and feel better about myself. I may have moved abroad, my life might be different from what I was used to back home. But I desire, and I'm intentional about living my best life going forward. So we need to reflect, recharge, reinvent, set goals, and follow through with those goals. It's not just about talking. Like I said, reinventing yourself requires a willingness, it requires courage, and it requires action. So action starts with setting the goals. And after setting the goals, we have to give ourselves a timeline. And the goals have to be smart. Uh, and then we have to give ourselves a timeline, and there must be an action plan in place. And as we tick off those boxes, as we follow through, we tick off those boxes, we know that we are actually making progress, we know that we are getting better, and we're seeing results. And like I said, even if we fail along the way, we've learned one method or one way of not doing it so that we can do it better. So there will be mistakes along the way, there will be failures, but the thing about it is that as we reinvent ourselves, we will network, make the right connections that will help us to grow, help us to get better, help us to do better. So please drop your comments in the comment section. What are those things that have held you back, and how do you plan to reinvent yourself going forward? I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Have a Merry Christmas. It's bye for now. And a very Happy New Year too, if I don't get to have a conversation with you before the new year. And do well to subscribe. Okay? Bye for now.